Well, hello there. How are you doing, creepy old dude with a sphinx behind you?
The Luxor Sphinx.
How you doing tonight? This
I'm
is
doing good, man. How are you, bro?
I'm good. That's OG Daniel, and I'm here a little late tonight, but I will be very honest. The reason why I was a little bit late tonight was because I had to go out and buy a Christmas gift for a Christmas party tomorrow, and it was one of those $20 go and it's alcohol related, and
Hmm.
I'm not a big alcohol guy, as you guys know. I don't really normally do alcohol. Yeah, I know you do, but but I went to the store, stopped by, and I was gonna buy some rum, and I was looking around and I'm like, this is crap rum for 20 bucks, because you can only spend 20 bucks. So I spent a little bit more, but I got some good rum. I got Regal, which is Dominican rum. Regal. Great stuff. And it's cost a little more. And then I put it in one of those decanter bags, tis the season to be jolly type of things. So I rushed in a little bit late, but hopefully not too bad of a start. So let's see. I want to get together with show some of the things we have. Brian Rodriguez in here. Thank you, there, shipmate. Um, and Richie Riche, our
Hey, Richie.
favorite Bronco fan. Hollywood Raider is also in the house. There's Big Al. Any rum is good with any rum good with any diet soda. Um, oh, okay. I guess he's saying any rum is good with diet soda. No, I like regular soda, man. Um, Jam on. Yeah, I guess Big Al definitely loves our theme. We've already had some things talking about, the Raiders draft. Uh, pop in, pop in Thursday when we're going to be talking Raiders stuff for true. But also, why the hell is this spinning? Come on, man.
What's spinning?
I just made a comment, and it was spinning on all of the different. Okay, thank you there. Sinister Rain, good to see you there as well. Permission to come aboard. Aaron Cortez, great to see you as well. Rafael Chacin Montilla, I think I said that correctly, by the way. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Next time I can buy it here and ship it. Pun into Brugal from Canada. I mean, this was. I mean, it was a little. It was a little more than 20 bucks, but it was a nice decanter, and it's really good rum. It's really good rum. And what I wanted to make sure that we had on here is this comment. You know, Ref Guru, myself, and Violator, we'll have our show tomorrow. That is in the comments section. Let me turn on. Let me see here. Stand by a second. Let me turn on my YouTube channel. And again, if you're watching on Chronicles of the Black Hole YouTube channel, thank you for watching the Chronicles of the Black Hole YouTube channel. Be sure that you are coming over and watching on my channel as well, which is Captain Jack Rackham's channel. And if you're on Captain Jack Rackham's channel and you're not subscribed to Chronicles of the Black Hole channel, please do, because OG and I support each other. So we want to make sure that all of the peeps that watch on each other's channel watch on each other's channel. So make sure you subscribe to Chronicles of the Black Hole channel, and as well as to my channel. Um,
I
and
need three more subscribers, and I get to hit another little mark.
there you go. By the end of the night, if you're not watching, if you're not already subscribed to Chronicles of the Black Hole, I need at least 3 people to come over there and get over to Chronicles of the Black Hole and subscribe. And when you do that, make sure you pop it in the comments section that we are now subscribed. Okay, Robert Hawk, hello to you as well. And again, yes, this is Pearl Harbor Day. 80 years ago, 80 years ago today, granted it was Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a day that will live in infamy. Now, it is 80 years later. Richie Riche, it just when you go to
Did you make petty officer yet by that time?
I was still a seaman in 1941. Pun intended. I was still a seaman. Yeah, I was still a seaman. Yeah, Richie Riche, just it's right on. It's right on. The if you see where it says Chronicles of the Black Hole in the comments section, that's his channel. That's his channel, me. Richie Riche wanted you to DM him, but yeah, it's easy to do. Richie, just go. You're on YouTube already. Just go and Chronicles of the Black Hole. It's his name. It's the same name of the channel as it is this show, and that is a great great show. And
Thanks, Richie.
Yeah, he's
Thanks,
talking
Ray
about,
Hollywood.
yeah, all of that guy. Dirty Raiders
Hey,
in
Dirty. Here. I love Dirty, man.
Yeah,
Hollywood
good.
just subscribed. Thanks, Hollywood.
All right, thank you, Hollywood. Like I say, Richie Riche said he's going to subscribe. And again, if you're subscribed on his channel and not subscribed on my channel, what the hell?
Hey,
What the hell?
let's talk about a legend.
Let's do
a
that.
Real Raiders legend.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Anybody in particular?
You want to start? Okay. Well, we're going to start off with Ted Hendricks. He was played in the NFL for 15 years. He was an absolute Raiders, like the Raiders character. Okay. And I mean a character. He did crazy stuff. We got good stuff to talk about. First of all, though, he was born, his mother was from Guatemala. His father was American. He worked over there. And so he was raised to speak bilingual. He spoke English and Spanish fluently. He's the only Guatemalan born player to ever play in the NFL. But there's other things about him that are just amazing as far as his stats and his gaming, his balling. He played originally was drafted to the Baltimore Colts in 1969. He ended up playing with them with the Packers after that, I believe.
Yeah.
And yep. And then he ended up being traded to the Raiders. Okay. Well, we could talk about his Packers and his Colts, but the guy did amazing things there. And then he came to the Raiders, and he wanted to be here because it fit him, because he considered himself a misfit. And in a lot of ways, man, he was a misfit. But it was just, I mean, Cap, you got his stats or anything?
Actually, I didn't. I like I said, I was running a little bit late. I will go and pop him up. I do know that he was all conference, and for both conferences, he was actually he made all NFC conference when he was with the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been all conferences for both of the for the AFC and the NFC. And he actually talked about it when he said that he played for all the storied franchises. The Baltimore Colts and they were in the NFL at the time before the NFL AFL merger. So the Colts and the Packers were the two dominant franchises back in the 60s for the NFL. And he was drafted by the Colts, and he played out the option to be on the Colts, and then he went to the other dominant franchise, which was the Packers, which by that time was in the NFC after the merger. But he got a chance to play for both of the storied franchises. And one little known thing that I actually read tonight was that after he left Green Bay, had he not been traded by the Packers, the rights for him actually was actually 2 first round draft picks. Again, Al Davis didn't mind giving first round draft picks, so he gave up 2 first round draft picks to the Packers for the rights to Ted Hendricks.
Mhm.
And I mean, he did that for 2 Hall of Famers because he also traded 2 first round picks for Michael Haynes uh, to the Patriots a couple years later, and we all know how that turned out. So there you go. Again, I do have his stats up there. He played in 215 consecutive games. And that's basically, and I mean this, every game of every year that he was in football. And I say every game of every year because the strike shortened season of 82, he played 9 games, but there was only 9 games. Every year of every game for every franchise, he played every game. 215 regular season games, plus, of course, the post games as well. So that
All 14
215
games
games.
in the regular season back then.
Right. And then 16 from 78 on,
Right.
minus the strike shortened season. So I got some of the other things. Go ahead and pop up for some other information, and I'll grab some other information need be as well. I will say this, though, as far as like stats, Hendricks holds the record, not him solely, but he holds the record for most safeties by anybody in football, which is 4. He also has, if I'm not mistaken, I said about the All NFC, All AFC, or for both or All AFL, All NFL, and again All AFC and All NFC. He also has what the I think it was what the most blocks.
Blocks, punts, kicks, and extra points.
Yes, most blocks of anybody, and I think he shares that with somebody as well. But still, when you're 6'7",
You can do that.
you can do that. And the thing I was like, it's like he was 6'7" and 220.
He started at 205. He built up to 220.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm glad I was at least doing this while we were. And I'm sorry I haven't been able to get to the comments because I've been doing all of the stats. But yeah, and I think you might have all your subscribers now.
Wow. Thanks, Robert.
And yeah, Robert Hawk, and I think Hollywood did that. And
Yep.
there you go. So I think you might have your 3, which is great. They again,
I hit 300, man. I'll be happy. And understand on this channel, Captain Jack and I are the Chronicles of the Black Hole together. Okay. On his channel, he does other shows. On my channel, I do other shows. So I'm going to start pushing that subscribe stuff if you like other Raiders content too. But this one is my baby. This one is our baby. This one is our baby. This one is why the show is named the show, because we are giving you the Chronicles of the Black Hole, the old school Raiders legends. And yes, 6'7", 205. They called him the Mad Stork until he got to the Raiders and they changed his name to Kick Him in the Head, Ted. I don't know how he got that. I had to look.
Actually, the way he got that name, and I think it was either in a Madden's book, his original Madden book, but in one of the books was and it was shortened because it was Kick Him in the Head, Ted, and it was eventually shortened to Kick Him. It was actually in like a preseason game. He kicked somebody in the head, and they just ended up. It just went with Kick Him in the Head, Ted, and then went from there to Kick Him. And actually, did you see the story of how he got the nickname of Mad Stork?
Well, they said I was by his appearance. He looked like a stork. He was really tall and lanky.
Well, yeah, but he got that back in college at the University of Miami. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the defensive players was called Mad Dog, and the guy who was called Mad Dog proceeded to figure out nicknames for all the rest of his defensive cohorts that were playing at the University of Miami. And because he was tall and lanky, and because the ibis was the mascot for the University of Miami, with the ibis being a stork, he looked like a stork, so hence the nickname Mad Stork. So that's how he got his name, Mad Stork.
Yeah, it's funny. Is I've seen plays where I've seen plays. Wow, it didn't even highlights. I've seen plays where you'd come out. It was typical. You'd have a fullback coming up to block the running back. Old school, and he'd shove the fullback back into the running back, and tackle him that way. They said hitting him was like hitting what's that iron, black iron, a support iron. He said running into him was like running into a black iron. He was skinny. He looked like you could blow him over. You ran into him and it hurt to run into him.
Yeah. And I guess nowadays that would be a penalty, like on Jonathan Abrams the other day, which is bullcrap. But we'll get to that another day as well.
Another time.
Another
But
time.
Ed Hendricks, yes, he has that record. The guy was 6'7". He could leap. You're not kicking past him. There have been times where he blocked a punt and took it in for a touchdown. He's done that. I know he did that with the Colts, but this guy also used to pull some crazy antics. Okay. Now, he was a great player. I mean, this guy was a great defensive player, and he got a lot of interceptions too. He could cover. He was the complete package. But he was listening to stories that Lyle Alzado and Howie Long told in interviews. And Howie Long said that he was one of the smartest people he'd ever met. He said, I was a rookie. I'm sitting there. We're in a meeting. He comes in hungover, or maybe from the night before, or maybe even a continuation from the night before. Sitting there, half asleep in the chair. We're watching film. And as soon as they line up, he called the next play they're going to run. Now, you didn't have film at home to do this. He just knew how to read offenses. He'd seen so many of them. And Howie Long continued on telling the story that one time they were in a game, and Don Shula of the Miami Dolphins called a crackback block on the Stork, and he read it, got through it, tackled the running back, and turned around and yelled at the sidelines at Don Shula, "That's an insult! I saw that back in '71." Howie Long was telling this story like his mind was so football smart. He just couldn't believe it. And he said not just in football, but in business and every other thing, this guy was academically like top notch. And then Lyle Alzado did an interview, and he was talking about this guy. He said, Ted Hendricks, I'm going to do the whole hand thing. Ted Hendricks lives in a whole universe and time of his own. He goes, that's one strange human being. And there were reasons they talked about that, because Ted Hendricks would show up to training camp. One year he showed up and he'd hired a stripper. And this
wait. Let me get my surprise face for somebody on the Raiders coming in with a stripper.
He hired a stripper, and she came out on the field in a trench coat, dropped it, was butt naked, and ran 2 laps around the field and took off. And everybody's like, "What the hell is this?" And they found out that Ted Hendricks had hired her. One year he showed up at training camp, and he was on a white horse with a silver painted helmet. And then one year he showed up in a limousine, back before that was even a thing, And then one year he showed up, everybody showed up at training camp. They're sitting there and they're looking over, and he's got this table with a big umbrella with his 2 chairs with his feet up. He's got a pitcher of margaritas, and looks over at the team and says, "It's fun day." Ah! He was just full of it. He was crazy. But he also liked to go to what are those Renaissance festivals, and he would get masks. Renaissance masks, all kinds of crazy masks. And he'd drive down the highway with them on, looking at people, and they'd just stare at him like, what the hell? And but he even showed up to, was that a Super Bowl? He wore that one mask.
Well, actually, I was gonna say that a lot of people remember that when they see Ted Hendricks and they show the highlights of Ted Hendricks and he's wearing the paper mache
White
Renaissance
mask with the big red lips and the
right,
teeth.
right. And people now is when he first went to the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people asked him about it. Said, was that part of your chicanery? And he's like, no. Because when he originally went to the Raiders, remember I told Al Davis traded 2 first-round draft picks for him, and it really kind of pissed off Coach John Madden at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Madden and Al Davis were having a bit of a spat at the time.
About him, especially.
About Ted Hendricks. And the reason why you see that mask it was on a Monday Night Football game, by the way, where he's sitting on the sidelines and he's waving with that mask on, is because he was not playing a lot. He was not starting, and he was not playing a lot of those games. So he put the mask on with the smile on his face so people would think that everything was copacetic and great and fantastic, but he was really pissed off that he was not being played. Now, obviously, when you have an asset like Ted Hendricks on your team, he eventually would obviously get into the games. And it was weird. I even read today as well that I'm not at one point in his career prior to between Super Bowl 15 and Super Bowl 18 that the coaches wanted to get rid of him.
Yep.
All of the Raider coaches wanted to get rid of him, and he still remained on the team because Al Davis was his guy. Wow,
Al Davis was Al Davis. Now, you don't. Al Davis don't give a damn what he's gonna get. He was back then. He was so much more of a football mind than any of his coaches. And I'm talking about some great coaches. Al Davis don't give a shit. Al Davis would override you.
Got to write it down, just in case.
Oh, you're on Sports Stream.
Well, just in case I upload it for the network. Yeah, no worries though.
I watch my effing mouth. Okay.
No worries. Like I said, just in case I upload, it's 25 and a half or whatever. Anyway, and you know what?
One so far?
No, just one that I remember. By the way, fuck it. I won't put this on, I won't put this on Northeast Streaming Sports because we'll be allowed to
bring people in.
To be able to do. But by the way, what I'm going to do is and for those folks that normally call in, don't call in because no, I'm not going to do a system update. No. I don't need an update.
Okay. By the way, I was trying to reach you, Captain. We've been trying to get a hold of you about your extended auto warranty.
There you go.
We just need you to update then. Yeah. I love today. I love technology.
No, I got the voice message on, and I did. No, I didn't hear anything. Nope. Okay, so anyway, just in case there was a phone call, that a unique individual phone call. We got that. So yeah, fuck everything. I'm not putting this on Northeast Streaming Sports tonight, but such is life. And again, great with that. And I want to say to salute to everyone. Remember, if you subscribe to Chronicles, please subscribe to my channel. If you subscribe to my channel, please subscribe to Chronicles of the Black Hole. That's good.
Yeah, all you got to do is subscribe. We won't email you. We won't call you. We won't bug you. It's free.
By the way, does DirecTV continue to call you and say, this is AT&T and DirecTV? I mean, it's got to be spam
I don't know, man. Look, my number is 3. I don't answer most of the calls on my cell phone because if I don't know who you are, you're not in my contacts. We don't talk.
Well, okay. OG is so old that his social security number is 21.
What? Who asked that? What? Wait, was that in the comments?
No, I just said it.
Oh, okay.
I said it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yes. Wait a minute.
hey,
Aren't you
well,
like a few weeks older than me?
a little bit,
Uh,
but
okay.
we were talking again as well about some of the records that Ted holds. I do, excuse me, I do want to get this out of the way. Um, he had 26 interceptions in his career, one of them for a touchdown. He had 16 fumble recoveries, was close to a record. And I think at one time it was a record. And as you said, he blocked a punt for a touchdown. He has an interception return for a touchdown. He had a safety, or what would have been a safety, fumble recovery for a touchdown. So he scored all sorts of ways. At least those three ways. He's one of only four people to have what do you call it? Those things in his. Well, I think there's like maybe him plus one other person where you had a interception touchdown, a fumble recovery touchdown, a block punt touchdown. There's I mean, again, and the one other thing I have to say before Daniel goes back as well, you have to remember that of the college football superlatives, there are three Raiders that have the college football awards that are named after them: the Ray Guy Award, the Fred Biletnikoff Award, and the Ted Hendricks Award. These are college superlatives, and like I said, and we have three of them that are all Hall of Famers for the Raiders, and they're all college Hall of Famers as well.
Who was the last guy to win the Ted Hendricks Award for the Raiders?
For the I think, well, for the Raiders, I know that Carl Nassib was actually, I think because he was a Brown, then a Buck, and then a Raider. I think he was actually a nominee for the Ted Hendricks Award.
Did Khalil Mack get that award?
Possibly. I'll look at that while you're going on to go ahead, and I will look it up while you're doing that, bud.
So this guy was a character. He did crazy stuff. His antics were not tolerated in Baltimore. They weren't Baltimore Colts. They weren't tolerated in Green Bay. He went to the Raiders because he felt like that's where all the misfits were. That's where he belonged, and he fit right in. This guy was intelligent. This guy knew how to read offenses. This guy could ball in ways that, and got onto a team of misfits who could ball. Al Davis was great for recycling misfits and turning them into superstars. And he came in at that time where we won Super Bowls because of him. Okay, because of his gameplay during the season, the postseason, and in the Super Bowl. So yeah, this guy was one of those characters who really stood out because of his antics, but also, yeah, you can pull antics, but this guy had the game to back up his antics. And Al Locosell, who was Al Davis's partner, he was in charge of the Raiders before Al Davis took over, said a guy with that kind of those kind of quirks, or what's the other polite word for quirks? He said
idiosyncrasies, maybe.
Idiosyncrasies. A guy who performs that way, he deserves them, and he deserves them without question. And we didn't question him. He was if you listen, there's a lot of tape on him. There's a lot of highlights on him on YouTube. I urge you, please do not deprive yourself of this. Go watch him. Go watch his highlights. Go watch. He's in the top 100 players in the NFL.
Yeah, he was number 67, I believe, right?
72 or 67 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you get to see, they talk about him, and you're like, okay, this guy's crazy, and he's having fun. He was just being himself, and he didn't care what people thought of him. And other players, Okay, when Lyle Alzado thinks you're nuts, you might be a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's saying something. Pot calling each other white.
Eccentricities is what they said. Eccentricities.
Eccentricity. By the way, I did look, and I was correct with Carl Nassib, who won the Hendricks Award in 2015 from Penn State. But the last Raider to win the Hendricks Award was none other than Cleve Farrell in
Okay.
2015.
So
So
Mac didn't get it?
no, Mac didn't get it because I think that was the year that him and Jadeveon Clowney came out the same year, I think. And that was 2012, and Jadeveon Clowney won it for South Carolina.
Okay. You got to be a top-notch college player to get that award. You got to be a top-notch defensive player.
For sure.
Definitely.
Who's the dude in the graphic with no beard? Oh, that. Okay.
Actually, he does have a beard. Hold on. He does have a beard. Right there. Right there on the chin. And that's the Sphinx at the Luxor.
No, but I think he also might be talking about your page, maybe.
Oh, that's me. That's me.
Yeah.
And I will look like that again in March because it gets warm around here, and this will have to go.
Yeah. So, I'm putting all the comments up. Doc Cabral. Oh, by the way, like I said, Doc is probably one of the only Patriots, and I will say Patriots fans because he's old school Patriots, pre-Bill Belichick. So when I talk about the Patriots, I say Patriots for Doc Cabral. So welcome aboard as well. Again, getting back to Ted, like I said, it's just so much, and there's other good things that are written in the book, and I've actually. I have been able to speak with Ted a couple different times because I've seen him at some of his charity events. I've seen him in London. I've seen him in Miami for some of the things that he's done there. I never have gotten a chance to ask him about the time that apparently there a $5 bill, or maybe it was $1. It was a $5 bill. Yeah, a $5 bill found its way into a toilet. And, Ted looked at the $5 bill and he's kind of basically like shook his head, rips out a $100 bill and throws it in the toilet as well. And people are asking, like, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, I ain't reaching in the toilet for a $5 bill, but I'll reach in the toilet for 100. So basically, he made sure that it was worth his while to get the $5 by adding a $100 bill to it.
He reached in and grabbed them both.
So he won't do it for $5. For $105, he definitely will, and that is a true story. He did.
Oh.
I am been told that is not BS. So there you go.
That's an awesome story too.
Yeah.
But anyways, hey, should we put a link in and see if we can get some other people to come in and talk to us, see if they're interested in talking about this?
Yes, I'm gonna copy the link. If you want to be on with us, please go ahead. Do not call in because I am holding off calls. Now you can call via the link that we are putting up. You can call via the link we're putting up. It'll ask you to go into StreamYard. You don't have to be on camera.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about that. You're going to have like a blank spot on camera, but please use the link. The reason why that is I'm holding off on phone calls just in case we get a phone call for this show. That's all I'm saying. Just in case you get a phone call for this show. So again, you have the I don't, you know what, Richie, I don't know if there was poop in the toilet. I think it might have just been pee.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, even I would have to throw in 100 to go get some for a $5 bill. No, I wouldn't do it for in a poop toilet. But
but what year was that?
Yeah, well, actually, $5 back then was a higher amount than it is now.
Absolutely. And so 100 would definitely make it fine.
Yeah, definitely, especially this is in the recession eras of like the 70s and the 80s. So $5 actually could get, wow, $5. Man, do you remember? God, I remember when I had $5. I used to be able to get like, let me see, they were 25, 10. I used to get like 25 packs of baseball cards for $5.
Wow.
They were like 20 cents a pack. The tops cards were like 20 cents a pack. You'd get like 10 cards in them, and then you had that nasty cracker bubble gum that was that was like chalk. But for $5, you can get like 25 packs of baseball cards for $5. So that way back when in that era.
I don't
So
know if
again,
Charles Razzo is in here. If he is, I'd love you to jump on because him and I've been having some interesting conversations and comments about old school stuff. He's been at it longer than us, bro. I would
okay.
love to hear from Charles Razzo.
If he's here, he hasn't hit the comments section yet. But again, going back to what we were saying, make sure you are subscribed to Chronicles of the Black Hole if you're watching on my channel. If you're
I hit
watching,
302, Cap.
it doesn't matter. Continue to get more people. If you are watching on my channel, make sure you go over to Chronicles of the Black Hole and subscribe. If you are watching on Chronicles of the Black Hole and you're not subscribed to me, what can I say? You're missing out on other Raider content as well. And
Right, and
by
the
the
captain
way,
has other shows too. He has you don't know Jack about sports, ask Captain Jag. He's also got N-FL where he's on with Violator and Ref Guru, who is a past NFL official who is a Raiders fan and will tell you a whole new perspective of things that you have no idea about this game. It's really good to get in there. Um, I'm doing this with Captain Jack, but I also do a show with Raider Joe called Dos Pendejos in a Chat Room. We talk about more current stuff. So if that's the name of the show, bro. Um, and I see a bunch of people subscribed. You guys put me over that 300 mark. I know that's not a big deal, but I've only been doing this since the end of June. So it's a big deal to me.
yeah,
Okay.
hey, tell your
And I'm
friend.
grateful.
Great content. Tell your friends, great content. Make sure that you subscribe to OG. And while I got him here as well, Richie Riche is here. And for great content on the enemy, and I say this as well because when you're an intel guy and you're an analyst, you always like to know what the enemy is thinking and what the enemy is doing. And Richie Riche is fantastic, a great Bronco guy with lots of knowledge and just great person to hang out with as well. He is on the MHRT, which is the Mile High Roundtable. It's also on YouTube. Go make sure you hit MHRT, which is Mile High Roundtable. Subscribe to that channel. You will get lots of good information from a great Bronco fan that gives you good insight to the enemy. So you need to
The
make
problem
sure
is
you.
they're thinking exactly what we are recently. As most of the AMC.
Yeah, I got that, but there you go. But yeah, thank you for subscribing as well, Richie Riche.
Yeah,
And
Richie's a good guy. I go check out his shows once in a while.
oh, see, and he said he thanks us. He just went live tonight. Yes, Tuesday nights is when you see Richie Riche
Right.
On those shows. But again, make sure you are there on Tuesdays for sure. It's Richie Riche and the 6'10" Mexican on that channel. And so, and I can't wait. And it's looking, as of right now, Daniel, it's looking like I will be here for next season. I know we've had some discussions, at least for the next 6 months. It's looking like I'm going to be here for the next season. So hopefully, I will be in Denver for when the Raiders go to Denver, and I know that Richie Riche is going to try to get the 6'10" Mexican in with him so we can take a picture of this of the captain with two big dudes next to him dressed in Bronco orange. I'm sure that will be a great picture to have. But again, if you want to be in the show tonight, I put the link up. I will put it up again as well.
Yeah, come jump on, man. We can talk about whatever. We can talk about old school Raiders stuff. We can talk about today. We can talk about what's going on this past week, what's coming up this week. We're good, man. We just want to tell you the story of a great Raiders legend. Now that you know it and you can check it out, come jump on, man. Let's talk.
And one other thing, yeah, other things as well is that I did have a chance. I do have an opportunity. Like I said, I do know Ted personally, and the lady that he hangs out with, great lady. Ted has always been a very just kind, giving of his time and all that he has for the Raider Nation and everybody there. Just a pleasant soul, a pleasant soul. So make sure that if you ever get a chance to go out for his charity events and things like that, go out and see Ted Hendricks. And speaking of the devil,
go to bed. Go to bed.
Perfect. Speaking of the devil, and we have him going to bed, making sure he goes to bed on time.
Oh, I'm
make
good.
Make sure. Hey, if he isn't, or if the kid isn't going to bed, tell them I'll tell them to go to bed too.
Well, we have duct tape in Canada for that.
Just put them up on the ceiling fan. They like that. It's fun.
Yeah.
So again, what's up, Richie?
We are joined by Richie Richey, that great Bronco guy that we were just talking about. How you doing tonight there, Richie?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, that's the only Broncos fan I don't hate.
So
there's only one Broncos player I didn't hate.
There's a few Broncos players who are pretty good.
There's only one I didn't hate because he does the best damn commercials. He's funnier than hell.
Who's that? Peyton.
Hey, look, Captain, go see his Saturday Night Live United Way commercial. It's funniest thing you'll ever see in your life.
I'm sure it is. And by the way, Dirty Raider, I see you back there, Dirty Raider. We will have you on. We will have you on after Richie. Thank you for coming in, Dirty Raider, as well. Richie, what are your thoughts tonight? By the way, do you have any memories of Ted Hendricks or anything along those lines that you wanted to share or anything like that?
No, see, I was a kind of a later Broncos fan because my dad was a Miami fan for years. So I kind of grew up being forced into growing up with the Dolphins in the house, and then when I got a little bit older, I ended up watching the Broncos on TV, and I was like, I kind of like the way that they play. They play a little grittier, my style, because I played rugby. So I kind of I migrated away from my dad's team and moved over to the Broncos.
Well, see,
Jerry White, make her sign a prenup.
Yeah, Jerry White's Jerry White. Every time he sees you, he reminds you that he's marrying a Broncos fan.
Yeah, make her sign a prenup, bro.
No, it's
so you grew up a rugby fan.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate that Richie Richey wasn't a couple years older so that he could have seen the Raiders at their finest, and he would be a Raiders fan today, considering how gritty, rough, and just all-inspiring they were. You just missed us by about a decade, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough gray in his. He doesn't have any gray in his beard at all. He's too young. But now. So who's your rugby team, Richie?
Well, I grew up with I'm Irish, as you can tell by the beard. So I grew up with the Irish here in Canada, and then I was recruited for the Canadian national team.
I'm a fan of the All Blacks.
The All Blacks are fine. I laugh at their little dances, and I like kicking their ass.
Yeah, you don't do that often, man. That's a team with 87% winning percentage over history.
Yeah,
they're the winningest sports franchise in the world.
They're an interesting team. I just think that I just think that they certainly have a certain style to them, and I think that they can be beat if you have the right people on your team.
I love the haka.
And I kind of ended up in a position where I felt that I could make more money working than I could playing rugby, and there's a part of me that regrets that decision because I'm a pretty damn good athlete, and I wish I kind of went on and played, because I think I could have made something for myself, but I opted not to.
Hey, Cool Kev. I'm sorry, somebody's commenting. Cool Kev, you will too if you're lucky.
That's it. Tore up a lot of calendars. You got it. Hey,
Captain tore up a lot of calendars.
What is on your mind tonight, there, big guy? What's inspiring you to pop in with Raider Nation? And we love you for it as well, obviously, but just off the cuff.
Yeah, I've been seeing a little bit going on in the AFC West. I didn't much care for what I saw in either of our games last week. I felt that the officiating was lackluster, and I was not a huge fan of what I saw against the Raiders. I was equally as not a fan of what I saw against the Broncos, and it just doesn't lend itself well to the NFL showcasing the fact that they want to be a balanced league and officiating evenly.
Yeah, and okay. I'm glad that you said that. Wait a second there, Daniel.
Okay.
I know I saw a couple. I'll be honest, I was really pissed by the time I got back to the hotel and had a pizza at the place outside. By the way, great pizza, really shitty service if you go into Blondie's in Las Vegas. And that was when the Broncos were playing the Chiefs. So I saw a little bit of the game, but I couldn't really see all of it. I want what the stuff that you saw from the Raider game. What were the obviously blatant fucked up calls that I'd like to hear from an unbiased source as well?
I got a few.
Well, I mean, there was about 3 or 4 on the interior defensive linemen, including Crosby, that were just absolute garbage. That I didn't much care for. And
1 second, guys, I got to take a call. So 1 second.
We can keep going, because that one against Abrams was bullshit too. And okay. Then there was a face mask hold at the same time against Hobbs that was non-called, and all the holdings against Max Crosby that don't get called. Man, it's just, I got a marketing idea how we can make the NFL fun again. Okay, what we do is we hire robots like they're getting ready to hire in FIFA to make the calls, but they don't say nothing. Let the refs make the calls. If the refs make the wrong call, the robots contact their drones and they come down and fire paintballs at the ref who made the bad call. Now, you get hit with 3, you lose your pay for the night, and you're ejected as a ref. That would bring in money.
Well, I just think ultimately that like there's a certain narrative in the NFL that certain teams are kind of on the poop list, so to speak. I don't know how aggressive we can go with cursing here, and
we can fucking talk all the shit we want.
Okay, so I mean, I just think that the Broncos. I think ultimately the Broncos and the Raiders are the kind of the crap list or the shit list of the NFL right now, and
Dallas.
Well,
Dallas is pissed because for the first time they're not the darlings.
Well, I mean, Dallas has Jerry Jones, and frankly, Goodell is always going to kowtow to Jerry Jones just because he has a marketing machine behind him, right? So, but at the end of the day, I think that you see the Raiders and the Broncos, particularly this year, the kind of the shit list in the NFL, and I think that's a problem. I think when you have 2 teams that are in the same division that are seen as lesser than, I think that's a problem, and I think you're seeing calls not being called properly. Like I watched a couple plays, not last game, but the game before, with Max Crosby, and his jersey was like being tugged backwards. I mean, at some point you just have to say, like, just stop it.
Did you see Zay Jones running down this field and getting a rubbing tug from the defender?
Well, Zay Jones was the other one there. And then there was another on the right tackle on the Patrick Mahomes touchdown against the Broncos. The right tackle held on to our outside pass rusher and then flipped him on his back, which is like, basically, there's 2 penalties on that play. One is you can't drive a guy to the ground, and then the other one is you can't pull a guy's jersey. So literally, there was 2 plays right in front of the ref, and neither of them are called, and it resulted in 6 points. Well, that's a huge difference maker in the game at that point. Like that's like basically before the anyone scored a touchdown. So you can't not let that go. That's a tone setter in the game. And if you let one team get away with stuff and another team not get away with stuff, then you're going to end up with issues in the game. The Raiders game was no different than that. Zay Jones getting the jersey tug, Max Crosby having several holding calls where he was spun backwards and spun
And
around.
also getting a bull crap roughing the passer call on
Yeah,
Crosby.
we've covered that already.
Okay, and I'm sorry. By the way, folks, I will be on K Dawn and SportsX Radio tonight. It'll be Eastern time. It'll be around midnight. But SportsX Radio on your dial, SportsX Radio. I'll be on with Ken Thompson. That's who the phone call was. Normally, I would whoever was calling. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not answering the call. But for Ken, I will. So that's why I had to take that call tonight. SportsX Radio. Midnight Eastern time on your dial, SportsX Radio. And Dirty, we see you, Dirty. Well, don't go nowhere, brother. Don't go nowhere. We're like I said, I know that we got Richie Richey on. By the way, Richie, did you want to meet Dirty?
Go for it.
Dirty's a good guy, man. Love this guy.
Dirty is a great guy. Let me flip the screen so we can all be on all at once. Dirty Raider, Richie Richey. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How about you? How you guys doing?
I'd be a lot better if the Raiders are coming in after a win, but
wouldn't we all?
For sure.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah. What?
How you doing, Rich? Pleasure to meet you, my friend.
You too. Nice to meet you too.
So Rich is seeing the bullshit calls too, man. We're playing every time we get out there in a game. We're playing the other team. We're also playing against the Zebras. And them throwing motherfuckers, except for when the other team does something, then that shit's super gorilla glued in their back pocket.
Yeah, it's 11 on 21.
Yeah,
or 11 on 20. Yeah, because it's how many Zebras there are on the field and then in New York. And then the 11 guys on the other side of the table as well. So it's bullshit. And by the way, I see some people like Raider 78. I know that you are a subscriber. You're watching over on Chronicles of the Black Hole. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel as well. And by the way, Dirty Raider has a YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, you got to get Dirty's channel.
There you go. Make sure you put that in your comments as well. Make sure you are following our boy Dirty Raider. So again, what was on? And again, I apologize for kind of tuning out for a little bit with Richie and Daniel. Again, and Richie was talking about, like I said, the bullshit penalties, fucking bullshit penalties.
Oh, you want to know what we were talking about, Captain? When you dipped out, we talked trash about you, bro.
Well, that's okay. Fuck you as well. I was going to say we will talk about that tomorrow. I do with Ref Guru and Violator. We're going to talk about all of those crap calls, and Richie pops in on that show a lot. So I know that you can make sure that you give those comments about the blatant bullshit that you saw against the Broncos and the Chiefs, because again, the NFL is fucking scripted.
Yeah, but Ref Guru will tell you all those dirty little secrets because he used to be an official.
That's right. That's right. It is fucking scripted. And you know, somebody told me and put on my Facebook, said that the Super Bowl this year is going to be the fake Pirates versus the Cheatriots, so that they can get that one and only opportunity of Belichick against Primatama. I won't even say his name because
if the Super Bowl ends up that, then you know they are turning against every team to keep them out.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, right now they have a pretty big mountain to climb to get the fake Pirates in.
Yeah, the fake Pirates have not been playing well.
No.
And don't think they won't find a way, man. These people, I mean, look at the tuck rule. Look at all this other stuff. I'm telling you right now, they're rigging it against the table against other teams, okay? And the house always wins. If they pull that crap, I'm telling you right now, Goodell's got to go.
Well, here's the other thing, that there were reporters that wanted to get at the side judge, the back judge, whichever fucking judge is that was on the Zay Jones call, and for because the reporters wanted to get at him, and he was unavailable for press coverage, and then there was a comment was made that it was about, well, he didn't want to discuss throw up balls. And the reason why that quote is important was because Jerry fuck you motherfucking Jones made the same comment after the Dallas game about throw up balls, and he is a billionaire, and lo and behold, that throw up ball comment was cited by the officials about that play. They didn't want to discuss throw up balls. Fuck you, refs.
No, but you know what? It starts, the fish always rots at the head first. That's an old mafia saying. It starts with Roger Goodell, the NFL, and works its way down to the refs. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
There needs to be, and I'm going to tell you right now, when John Gruden gets done with the NFL, the investigations are going to be microscope up everybody's ass, exposing everything they're pulling. You watch.
I'm hoping
he said the truth will come out.
So if I can speak on that, I think that Gruden, his best option right now is to try and push for a trial.
Oh, he is. He already filed a lawsuit.
No. That wasn't what I said. You can file a lawsuit, but the NFL is probably going to try and settle with him.
Right, but
Gruden, he ain't going to do that. He's going to go sports star.
Yeah. Right. His best option right now is to try and force a trial by jury, and then that'll force these documents and everything else to can come out and everything. Exactly.
Yeah, I have a feel. I'm sure that John Gruden is not worried about money. Okay, no. So if John Gruden is as hopefully as a stalwart of a person that wants to fuck the NFL, if he's gonna stick to that nomenclature, fuck you, I'm gonna fuck you where it hurts, I'm gonna bring it out. If that is true and he's not all about the money, then it will go to trial.
He's going scorched earth. He's going to destroy the NFL. He's going to bring them down. And all the corruption.
His best bet is to take it to trial, because he's done in the NFL. He's never going to coach again. Anywhere. You know what I mean? His coaching career is over. Like, so does it hurt to take them to court? No, it doesn't hurt to take them to court. Like, in fact, you probably should take them to court, just based on the fact that we as the public needs to see what the truth is. Like I've said it 100 times before. I've said it on a ton of people's lives. The NFL is the only sport with a fucking production meeting before the game.
Yeah, expose them for what they are.
Why do you have a production meeting for a football game? It's not a production. It's a game. And when you call it a production, that means you have a script written. And why we keep getting written out the fucking script when we're the most fucking valuable team in the NFL? The NFL sucks without us doing good. It does. I'm sorry. It literally does not thrive without us doing well. You're writing these scripts for these shit-ass cities that don't deserve championships, bro. Like, New England don't have enough. Tampa Bay isn't that nice of a fucking city. I mean, right here. Look, right Cleveland into the fucking Super Bowl. Shit, fuck. I mean, like, I don't get it. Like, I honestly, I don't get it. Like, Al Davis has passed away.
And let the teams just play. But the problem is the NFL is pulling some corrupt ass shit, and John Gruden is going to expose them and take them down. He's going to be the beginning and the end for a lot of motherfuckers in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm glad I definitely am not pushing this to Northeast Streaming Sports, because I'd be up all night with the edits. So fuck the edits. So there you go.
Well, in John Gruden case, guys, the one thing that he has going for them is in an entire investigation about a team who had like questionable practices as it pertains to their cheerleaders and having them do things and having photos taken of them, both nude, semi-nude, etc., private planes, other things. those sites. The only thing that come out of that investigation that made it public was John Gruden's emails and some of the content, which admittedly, I don't think any Raiders fan would agree, was certainly not great and did not shed a good light on the Raiders team or John Gruden. I don't think anyone can dispute that.
Wait. I'm gonna hold on one thing. It didn't shed a good light on John Gruden.
No.
It did, but as far as the Raiders team, you got to remember in the context of this email, this was when Gruden was working for BSPN.
Right.
So
That's
I don't
true.
think
That's true.
I was going to say it didn't have anything to do with the Raiders organization other than the fact that the Raiders hired him, and that was from a hire, and this was from shit that was 10 years in the past. So I don't really think that you can blame the Raiders for that.
One was from 2018.
Okay, so Captain, my only pushback on that is that the NFL does such a deep dive on NFL recruits and those types of things that I have a hard time believing that the Raiders organization, if they wanted to, could not have come up with some kind of stuff on Gruden in terms of his actions when he was at ESPN and other things. So I understand what you're saying, is that this is before he was with the Raiders, and I completely agree with that. However, these NFL teams, for better or for worse, find all of the dirt on all of the players. And if they really wanted to, they could find up some information in terms of whether it be reputation or general comments or whatever the case may be on anyone. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be
executives at the NFL.
Anyone.
I will agree to that, but I will also mention the fact that the reason why John Gruden was hired was because that was the only fucker that Mark Davis wanted for that job.
Right.
Mark Davis wanted John Gruden in that job because he wanted to have a transitional coach that was going to be able to sell the product of the Raiders, leaving Oakland, coming to Vegas, the second coming of the chosen one, John Gruden, to bring the Raiders back up, and in his mind, would the Raiders be a Super Bowl champion? And that is why he hired John Gruden for that ridiculous price.
Sorry, you have a couple guys in the chat there. You can find me at MHRT Network. That's MHRT Network on YouTube. I am the co-host of Broncos Talk on MHRT Network on Tuesdays. I'm probably one of the more aggressive, like X and O's type guys, where I go into personnel groupings. I start talking about the offensive and defensive lines. I start talking about some of the more gritty stuff of football. Again, I come from a rugby background, so I'm a lock. If any of you actually know rugby, I'm in the second row of the scrum. That's where I came from in terms of like my contact sports upbringing. I'm also the grandson or great grandson rather of a leatherhead from the Hamilton Ticats. So I have a long storied history of aggressive contact sports. And so that's where my background kind of comes from. I have a picture of my great grandfather upstairs actually with a leather helmet on. So that's kind of a cool backstory there. But that's kind of where I come at from a football background and a rugby background. And I was a national recruit here in Canada-wide or nationally here for rugby. So I have a contact sports background, and I look at football just a little bit differently. I believe in aggressive style and gritty style of football because I think that's what is required. Those are exactly the types of helmets that I have seen on a regular basis.
For you, I had to put it on, man. Like when you're going to talk about it, I said, I usually have a lot of good props ready to go. And again,
if you're a football fan, let me tell you what, if you don't know rugby, let me tell you what rugby is. You know what a busted running play is? It's the most fun play in football. Imagine an hour straight of that. That's what rugby is. That's why I became a rugby fan.
Yeah, so I was in the scrum, and then I had a unique skill set when I played rugby. I was about 6'1" at the time when I was playing through most of it, and then I kind of grew a little bit later in life, and then I used to run a 5-minute mile at like 2:40.
So and by the way, don't be surprised. Most rugby players have Earl Campbell legs.
Yeah, they do.
And they're big and jacked like Dirty and Richie.
But they got tree trunks for legs.
Yes, they do.
Dirty,
I'm
I
not
know
that
you're.
big.
I know you're a big boy, man. Come on, man.
I'm not that big. I'm
So
5'11".
Go with the flow, man. Go with the flow.
I know I'm
Dirty.
5'11", 215, man. If that's big, then that's big. But yeah, I'm
Wow.
yeah,
5'11",
I'm
215.
6'2" and 240, 245, depending on
5'11" and
where
I'm
I'm at.
6'1", 250.
That's cut. 5'11" and 215. That's cut.
Yeah, I still have a football build.
Yeah, that's
I'm
cut.
6'1" and a half, 250. But I've been eating good, man. Now in the spring that'll change.
Got it.
I wanted to say much respect to you, Rich, bro, because I really respect real football fans. You know what I mean? People, aside from whatever team they cheer for, I really respect football fans, you know what I mean, that literally watch the game. You know what I mean? So I appreciate your kind words on the missed penalties, because I feel like most people just be like, oh no, it's you guys as fans. You guys see everything, ain't nobody else. I'm like, bro, like it's impossible that the world is not seeing this. Like it can't just be us. It's not possible.
No, other people are saying it. And the thing is, there are other channels I watch, and they're not necessarily Raiders fans, but they make fun of these refs calls. There's another guy he's a Broncos fan.
You know what? You know the important people that need to say it, OG? Needs to be ESPN, needs to be NFL Network. You know what I mean?
You're not
Needs
that important anymore, man. It's YouTube driving the freaking real deal shit. And
I get it, but there's still a lot of people that don't watch YouTube and they still watch these shit ass stations. You know what I mean? For real. They still watch these commercial field shit stations.
Well, they're watching the wrong shit. Turn off the TV and turn on your YouTube.
You know that's never going to happen because the NFL pumps too much fucking money to the NFL Network and to BSPN.
But you know what?
They're not going to bite the hand. No, wait a second. They're not going to bite the hands that feeds them up till and only if it comes out. Because once it comes out, then they're going to do a whole big job of, oh, it wasn't us, and look what we have here. Once it gets out there, once there is something that is in their system that was like, oh, it's been exposed, now we can go after it.
I've been trying to make a video, but
now I'm going to say my thing, okay? And here's the truth. More and more and more. Watch YouTube channel content. Then you go and watch the pressers for these different teams. All these reporters are asking questions that YouTubers are talking about. Don't think we don't have an influence. Do not.
No. I didn't say that. No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's still a whole lot of people that don't watch our content. You know what I mean? We can only reach the people that watch our content. And when they share it, if someone actually clicks in on the link that they share and watch it. But other than that, like it really needs to come from these other, even if it's not ESPN and NFL Network, some of these smaller networks like ABC or well, not ABC because that's owned by, they own ESPN, but like NBC, CBS, you know what I mean? Like Fox. You know what I mean? Do some investigative reporting. Like I'm sitting here trying to make a video about all the penalties that have not been called in the last 5 years against us, and putting against this, pulling out same video to show another team the exact same play right after that, but then they get a flag. That shit is very tiring. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to put a video together because I feel like I've had enough of the bullshit.
Yeah,
I'm tired.
Here's the problem when you gotta struggle.
So guys, I have a question for you guys on a slightly different topic. So as a Broncos fan, one thing I'm quite curious about the Raiders is with the departure of Gruden and his offensive scheme potentially going with him.
No.
Where do you guys see the Raiders going offensively going forward from here? Do you guys see an internal promotion? Do you guys see external influences coming in to steer your team differently? Like where do you guys see the offense kind of going from
I
here?
see a new OC next year.
We're getting a new OC.
It's going to be a brand new OC, going to be a brand new head coach. And thank you, good motherfucking bye, Greg fucking Olson. And oh, by the way, okay. And Derek Carr was like, somebody asked him a question in the presser. By the way, motherfucking Derek Carr, if you don't want to be a Raider, then we already see when you're not wearing any fucking Raider gear how that fucking looks on you. So fuck you too as well. And start hitting open receivers so that you don't have people that we should have won that fucking game if you would have hit open receivers.
You can't hit open receivers if you can't do all your reads because your offensive line isn't protecting you.
You know what? When he has protection and there's an open receiver and he doesn't go to him like fucking D-Jax was open several times with time, and he still
doesn't trust his O-line.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
anyway, I'm sorry. Let me finish 30 and I'll let you go. It will be a brand new head coach with a brand new OC. So Greg Olson can kiss my fucking stank ass, non-wiped ass. Okay. And that's what's going on next year for the Raiders. And again, the other thing is that Greg Olson does not get along with Bradley because Bradley fucking fired him in Jacksonville as well. So especially if it's Gus Bradley as the head coach, I don't see that happening. But if Gus Bradley was to be the head coach, Olson will be out of that building fucking 15 minutes prior to that announcement. So there's your. I'm sorry, Richie. Dirty, I stepped on you. Go ahead, sir.
No, you good. You good. You can't step on me. It's your show. All right?
No. Hey, no, it's our show. It's kind of like this is Mr. Hand's class. Okay.
Yeah.
This is our class, Mr. Hand. Yes, this is our show, and it's for everybody. Go ahead, there, sir.
Real quick on the DC
really
statement.
He's serious wearing a leather helmet, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
but on the DC statement, couple of them couple of them plays like he couldn't see him, like literally he couldn't see him. There was people in his face, you know what I mean? He just couldn't see that far down the field, you know what I mean? Some of them other ones, yeah, there was two coverage, you know what I mean? Two people covering him. We don't see him, but he can see him. He's on the field, you know what I mean? We don't see everything that's on the field. He missed some plays. He made some bad calls, you know what I mean? Not everything he did was great, you know what I mean? But at the same time, he keeps doing what he needs. He keeps trying to do what needs to be done. Some of these drop passes don't need to be happening. You know, one of the things that pissed me off today, I went back and listened to Josh Jacobs' comments because everybody's talking about, oh, this is what we need, the team player calling people out, blah, 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 right? Well, then he made a comment about, well, I ran the wrong route, but it didn't really have anything to do with the play. It wasn't a major outcome. It was a fucking major outcome. You ran the wrong route. What do you mean it had no outcome? It had a major outcome. You ran the wrong route.
Yeah.
So when he came back to look for you when you wasn't in the spot that you were supposed to be, you gonna tell me that had nothing to do with the game?
Amen.
Fuck you. That's why I've been riding his ass so fucking hard the last couple of weeks. Bro, you say one good thing and then you come back and fucking contradict yourself less than 5 minutes later? You come out, you have a good game, but then you only play 2 fucking quarters the next? Bro, get your shit in order and get the fuck out. That's what I'm telling every fucking player that is signed with the Raiders right now. Get your shit together and get the fuck out. I'm tired. I've been a fan for 40 plus years, bro. I'm fucking tired. I don't want to hear no more shit excuses. Amen. I don't want to hear no, oh, well, we this, what was that? No. You're grown-ass men getting paid to play a fucking child's game. Just like everybody you got to face. They got the same problems. I'm not hearing excuses from them. And I watch football. I don't just follow the Raiders. I follow football. Point blank. I love the fucking sport. It just so happens the Nation is my favorite fucking team. That's point blank. But I still love football. You'll find me at a high school game on Friday nights half the time. Because I love football. If I'm driving past the park, I see a Pop Warner game that looks interesting, I'll pull into the parking lot. I love football, right? But I am so fucking sick and tired of the fucking excuses. Did we have a very dysfunctional year this year? Yes, we did. From the beginning, before the first ball was even snapped, our shit was just completely dysfunctional, right?
We put the funk in dysfunction this year.
But I'm sick of players. I'm sick of players like, oh, well, I got it. No, but still, at the point in time when it was time for you to take responsibility for your shit, you didn't.
I have to interject, though. You didn't have a dysfunctional year to start off. You had a dysfunctional year once the NFL or whomever decided to release the John Gruden emails out to the general public and to the, or sorry, more importantly, to the general public through mainstream media news outlets. That was really the big issue that the Raiders had.
Before that, our front office was in disarray. You know what I mean?
No, but before that, the Raiders were winning games. You guys were doing pretty well by and large, and that was when things were together. And when you end up losing your head coach as a result of leaked emails through the press, through mainstream media sources, that's a major issue from the NFL, because the only people that control the flow of those communications are, in fact, the NFL. And if they can't control the courts and they can't control the other things there, and they can't then come out publicly, like, for example, the NFL had every opportunity to come out when the original John Gruden emails came out to say, we were aware of these communications. We were addressing it with the Las Vegas Raiders, and we were in contacts with the owners, blah, 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 blah. They could have gone through all of those statements, that they could have had all of those things, but instead the NFL stayed quiet. They left it to the Raiders organization and your owner to come out to try to defend John Gruden, which is not the right way to do it. And who knows who actually leaked those emails, but at the end of the day, the Las Vegas Raiders at the very beginning of the season were within the top, you were number 3 or number 2 seed within the AFC, given that when you first came out within the first, the 2 seed for like on like week 4 or 5. And then these emails started to come out, and then the Las Vegas Raiders just kind of went on a slide as a result.
And then our bye week, we had a terrible tragedy losing our number 1 receiver.
And
I can agree with you.
Don't get me wrong.
I'm just simply saying that
as a Broncos fan, that doesn't necessarily. It pains me to admit that the Raiders were in fact doing well, because I never like to see a divisional opponent doing well, because I want my team to do well. However, you can't deny what you were seeing on the field. The Raiders were playing some darn good football.
Okay,
and that's just simple facts.
I didn't want to have the group. I'm gonna add another person in this conversation, and Jimmy Farrell. Jimmy, I'm warning you. You need to make sure that your microphone is close, because I love your conversation, but your mic sucks. And
because I'm using my phone, that's why.
I get it.
I don't have the technology like you guys
get it,
do.
but
okay?
make sure. I love your content. But like I said, when I want to hear it, and it's like I'm at a fucking Chinese movie and I can't hear it. That's the problem. So again,
because Apple sucks. That's why.
Apple sucks. Thank you, there.
Sounds
folks.
fine, man. He sounds fine.
He sounds fine. I'm just warning, because I want him close to the conversation. Jimmy Farrell, otherwise known as Raider Eeyore, because the world sucks and the Raiders suck, and we got
Okay, before we go there, Dirty
8-9, 8-9. Here it comes. 8-9.
There you go. I wanted to make sure that everybody knows each other. Go ahead, folks. We got it.
8-9.
But no, what I was
like
simply saying was, the dysfunction that I was speaking of was the front office. You know what I mean? Everybody knows a good organization has to have a functional front office, right? And our front office was pretty much damn near let go before we even had our first snap. You know what I mean? So that's the dysfunction that started. And then it just snowballed from there. You know what I mean? Like, you really want to go into a season with everything clicking on all cylinders. I mean, even from the front office all the way down to the practice squad. You know what I mean? You want things clicking on all cylinders. If there's one kink in the chain, bro, it can throw everything off. And I believe by our front office being in turmoil before the season even started was just that kink in the chain that we was just trying to get past. And we was like, okay, yeah, you know what I mean? We doing pretty good. But then, damn, you know what I mean? The wheels damn near, the wheels fell off. Like, I'm not going to say damn near fell off. They fell off. We should be a 9-3 football team right now.
Do you think that front office turmoil may have been as a result of the fact that Gruden had 51% control and there wasn't a top-down, like typically in most NFL organizations, you have like the vice president of football, you have the GM, and then you have the head coach, right? Like it's that top-down kind of hierarchical structure. And the Raiders,
I believe a head coach should not have 51% of a team.
Correct. So do you think that may have been as a result, perhaps potential? I'm not trying to like, you know.
No.
Let's put it this way. I am
clearly outnumbered in this that people don't want to open. You know what I mean? And it's the reality.
I'm clearly outnumbered in this conversation by an order of magnitude, right?
Wait. Our front office woes at the beginning of the season were something stupid. These guys overpaid taxes and didn't do the accounting right. And Mark Davis is just trying to recover the taxes. And he got rid of them because they're stupid.
Okay. Whoa. That's the official word. I think that's a crock of bullshit.
Okay, National Enquirer. Tell us what's up.
Regardless of whatever the reason was, doesn't fucking matter. It has no bearing on the situation that the shit took place. We don't know why. We can hear a bunch of stories, but we'll never technically really know. It's just what we know is the shit took place and it fucked off our season. Now, John Gruden should not have been. Look, you cannot be a head coach and the president and the general manager and the this and the that. Bro, you can't do it all. The GM is the one who makes the decisions. He's above a head coach. How the fuck is a head coach above a GM? A head coach can't be a GM's boss.
Because he's John Gruden, that's why. He's John Gruden.
Dysfunction.
And that's a major dysfunction.
But the front office shit didn't affect the team, man. Sorry, I hate to disagree with you. Those fuckers were gone before the season. And in the season, we were doing great. They didn't.
And we're still operating without a president. We're still operating without a president.
Isn't it funny when we were winning, this story came out and the NFL, the Raiders are winning. We can't have that. We got to have them to lose. So let's bring up this story.
Richie Richey, I don't know if you were here for that, Jimmy. Richie Richey actually brought that out. That the Raiders were the one of the top seeds, actually the number 2 seed in the AFC, and then all of a sudden they throw out the Gruden emails. And then, you know what? And I will give the team credit that once the Gruden emails came out and we lose to the Bears and they got rid of Gruden, the next 2 games under Rich Bisaccia, they were 2-0 because
everybody wanted Rich
Bisaccia. Wait a second. They were 2-0 under Rich Bisaccia, and then we have an incident with our number 1 wide receiver
during the bye week
who takes a life, and that locker room has not been the same since. And oh, by the way, the playbook has not been the same since, because you can't tell me that Henry Ruggs III wouldn't have fucking caught the ball that bounced off of Zay Jones's hands and face mask, even though he was interfered with, but he should have caught the ball anyway. Henry Ruggs III would have caught that ball because Zay Jones 100%. Was doing this shit trying to track the ball. Did like 3 head turns. Henry Ruggs would have caught the ball. Henry Ruggs would have caught another.
Ruggs turned into a great route runner in his second year in the NFL. Like he really started to polish himself.
And we've been missing that. So ever since Henry Ruggs went out, and again, the tragedy is Henry Ruggs in what he did and what he'll have to deal with. But that locker room
is multiple of compounded tragedies.
You know what would be funny? You know what would be hilarious? If 5 years from now, it came out that John Gruden lost his job because the NFL brought him the season script and he pissed on it and said, fuck you. I'm going to coach my team to the fucking Super Bowl, regardless of how you write it. And then that's how they decided to get rid of him. Wouldn't that should be some crazy shit?
Well,
Like,
there is
Not necessarily.
But
Look, we lived through 2020 and 2021. That ain't that crazy.
yeah, I can. You know what? That's not out of the realm of possibilities. And I don't have a tinfoil hat on, but that wouldn't surprise me at all, Dirty. That
It's
wouldn't surprise
silver.
me at all.
Silver.
I just got that
won't
feeling,
pay.
bro. I just
So
got that feeling.
there is another narrative that you're kind of missing, which is John Gruden likes to play football the way that I like to play football, which is
I'll be back.
far more grittier than what the NFL is right now, and that doesn't necessarily fit into today's NFL.
well, the NFL doesn't want that. They don't want that. They don't want that.
He was trying to make it a run game again, and he was succeeding at it. And the NFL's like, no, we've passed that time. We're a passing league.
Right.
We're going to pass the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like he was that rebel that came in, and yeah, unfortunately, he's getting blackballed. You know, like Kaepernick.
Right, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Is the so there's one way of looking at it, which is like the one take, which is the common narrative, which I'll go ahead and say, which is that for the counter narrative in the NFL, which is the NFL is scripted, et cetera, I actually think it's probably more likely that Gruden was counter to the narrative of the NFL right now, which is where he was basically saying, no, I come from an old school mentality. I want to play gritty football. I want to play aggressive football. And that is the style that the NFL is wanting to move away from. And Gruden said, basically go to hell. This is football. This is a contact sport, which is, by the way, that's my approach to contact sports, which is I play a contact sport. I am accepting the risk of the said contact sport. Leave me alone and let me play my damn game. Like, thanks, I'm good. Right? That's my personal risk factor on it. And the NFL doesn't want that as an NFL. They want the Patrick Mahomes throw it 60 times a game and throw 60-yard bombs down the field, et cetera, et cetera.
But Derek Carr doesn't do that.
John Gruden was counter to that narrative, and he was vocal about it. That's actually the big important piece. Is John Gruden had a large enough platform on his own to be vocal about it, and had enough people following him, looking at him, and some in some respects agreeing with him. And I could see that kind of stuff coming back to bite him and being a bigger issue in that respect. And that's counter to what the NFL is trying to move towards. I personally love these games, like we saw the Patriots on Monday Night Football, rather, where you had a game that was like 4 passes and nothing but running and gritty style football. That's what I love seeing, is offensive, defensive line play, etc. Because that's the other side of the game that the fair weather fans just don't understand. And I look at it and I watched that Monday Night Football game and said, wow, well, that was one hell of a football game. If you actually understood football, that's the way football is supposed to be played.
I'm telling you right now, 20 years from now,
said, let's find the dirt under his fingernails.
20 years from now, NFL will be no pads, foam helmets with flags, 2 games a week.
And as long as Mark Davis is on this team, the owner, we're not going to see a Super Bowl. He needs to go. Okay?
Why?
It's not working with him. He doesn't know what he's doing. He has no clue what he's doing.
Really?
He doesn't. He doesn't.
He got us our own stadium. Whoa.
Yeah, because he wanted to make
stadium for the first
right,
time.
and that was it. He just came in. He came here to make money. He don't.
Let me ask you a question.
He got us our own stadium, dude. Really?
Yeah, and how are we right now? We're the same place as we were before.
You're looking for
what's my guy's name over here?
And that does not how football works.
Eeyore? That's Jim.
Eeyore, let me ask you a question. How long you been a Raider fan? How long you been a Raider fan?
About 45 years.
45 years. Within that 45 years, did you ever once complain about what Al Davis was doing?
Yeah, I did.
You did, right?
Towards
Just like
his
a whole
end,
lot of other
towards his end of
towards
his
the
career,
end,
I did.
towards the end of his career, he was
Yeah.
doing too much, and he had lost.
We're
No,
still paying for
he
it.
was
right?
no, he
Now,
wasn't. He didn't know what he was doing either.
he didn't know what he was doing, right?
No, he
So
was too old for the team.
now
He had to go.
Mark has football knowledge, but what Mark Davis is doing right now is doing what fans have exactly asked of him to do, which was hire football minds and let them run the sport. You focus on business and bringing more money into the franchise. That was one of the reasons we were so pissed off at Al Davis. He wants
How
to be
many
hands-on,
coaches
but
has he been
fucking has
Well,
through?
let
no
him
idea.
finish. Let him finish.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So we got mad at Al Davis because he was hands on past his prime where he didn't really fully understand, right? So Mark Davis, he has football knowledge, but it is nowhere near what his father had at one point in his time before he started losing his mind, right? So his best bet is to hire football minds and let them run the football aspect of it, and he runs the business aspect of it. Since he's moved us to Vegas, we went from dead last in revenue to top 5 in revenue.
Also, he
that
brought in
means
Reggie
we now
McKenzie to
ready
clear
bring
out those
in
bad
free agents.
contracts.
And how
Look,
did that
listen,
go with McKenzie? He's gone.
He
And how many
cleared out the
coaches have we
bad
gone through?
contracts.
But
we
how many
cleared out
coaches
all the
have we
bad
gone through?
contracts, and
How many
now
coaches we
we're
gone
making
through?
money to where we can afford to actually be something
Great,
in free
great.
agency of a contender, right? So it's not Mark Davis. Mark Davis is doing exactly what we asked his father to do, which is keep your hands off the fucking franchise. You run the business side and hire business minds and let football minds run the football aspect.
And
And
So
you
we're
just
exactly
making
what he's done.
we're making tons of money, and the team is still mediocre. That's
That's
But
not
that's
true.
not on Davis.
Oh
That's
my
not on
God,
Mark
this guy
Davis.
That's not true. So
Sure it is. He's the owner. He's the
So-
owner.
But he's not. He's not the hands-on.
Gentlemen, please respect each other. And
Yes,
when,
sir.
when one person has a point, let it ride through, and then try to counter.
Okay, but here's the
It's
thing.
on the bottom.
You got two choices. You got a knife or a pizza cutter. You can be a point, or you can be all edge and no point.
I don't know. I just don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Mark Davis is ever going to get us to the promised land. I really
I
don't.
understand that, and I respect that.
And I'm sure a lot of
It's
other
your
Raider
opinion.
fans are thinking the same thing. I
So-
mean, great.
so-
He's making us money. Yeah, great. How about the product itself? How's that going?
He's still
Well-
cleaning up stuff.
well,
that
right-
his daddy did.
So right now, I would argue that the Raiders are probably in the best spot they've been in probably a decade. If you
And it's
if you
going
look
to
at
take another
what
5 years.
Financially wise.
if you look
Financially
at where the Raiders are, so first off, let me just put it this way: if you see the logo behind me,
Right?
I am clearly not a Raiders fan. However,
Clear.
if you look at where your team is at right now, as of today, as in right now, compared to where you were, say, a decade or even 5 years ago, I would argue that your team is in a better place today than it was 5 or 10 years ago. Full stop. Period.
I
When
think
you
your
look at what's
Broncos in a
happened
better
right now-
position.
When you look at right now what your owner has done, your owner has moved your team to a market that is far larger. You're able to then obtain more revenue. The one big issue that your team had was obtaining players and getting into larger markets. Well, right now there's very few markets that are larger than Las Vegas, and on top of that, they're into a market that has the potential of having swing, like a swing market perspective from the NFL. Now, once you get past some of the original or the initial, Raiders stigma that has originally plagued the team, you can get over that probably in the next 2 years. And then once you get past that in 2 years, your team will probably be in a position where you've built up cap space. You've got rid of really crappy contracts that you've previously signed. And then you can get back into a position where I think you're going to be a pretty good franchise overall in the NFL. However, you can't get there until you've started to get rid of the crappy contracts and the crappy signings that you guys have had. And I think in some respects, Gruden was both a blessing and a bit of a hindrance. The Davis family has put Gruden on somewhat of a pedestal. And when you look at your drafting, you've had about 3 or 4 really good draft picks, but none of your early draft picks have worked out. Those kill your cap space. Once you get rid of those early draft picks and start drafting better, which I think Mayock can probably do on his own, I think you're going to start turning your franchise around, and in the next 2 years, you're going to be in a different place.
He gave a coach
Canadians?
$100 million contract, which who in their right mind does that?
That's what I just
Who
said.
signs a coach for 10 years?
But they didn't have to pay that because Gruden fucked himself. And you know,
Well,
how can you not
he got
love
lucky.
Canadians? They're the nicest people in the world, even if they're Broncos fans.
You know what? A lot of fans they want Mark Davis gone, but here's one of the things you fail to realize: if Mark Davis leaves, so does the Raiders logo.
Here's the
You
thing
will
about
become
Mark
another team.
Davis.
We will become another team. Point blank.
Here's the thing about Mark Davis. The only person I want involved with Mark Davis gone is his goddamn barber. Other than that, leave him alone.
Why can he hire the right coach in this next pick? Go get the guy from Clemson. He was buddy with them in the game at the game this past Sunday.
Dayball.
Try to get him.
How many freaking college coaches work out in the NFL?
He's a young coach. He's a young coach who won a national championship.
How many college coaches have worked out in the NFL?
Very few.
Very few.
Exactly.
Where did the Los Angeles Chargers coach come from? Wasn't he a college coach? And how is he doing?
Are they running the division? No.
He's doing better than us.
The Los Angeles Chargers coach came from the Denver Broncos coaching tree under Vic Fangio as a defensive
coordinator.
Thank you. Is there any other questions? I have all sorts of answers for you.
Huh?
It's not a college coach, Eeyore.
No. Hold on. Let me take over. The Los Angeles Chargers coach came from the Denver Broncos defensive coordinator's coaching tree. His name is Brandon Staley. He's a phenomenal defensive mind in the NFL. He's been an NFL coach for eons. He is great at what he does.
Where did he come from before the Broncos?
Hold on. No. This isn't about before. This is about what he has now. He came from the Vic Fangio coaching tree because he was under Vic Fangio. He was one of Vic Fangio's disciples. He has a phenomenal defensive mind. He has an excellent defensive scheme. He has a defensive foundation. He is not a college coach. He has come from the Vic Fangio tree and the Vic Fangio coaching tree overall in that defensive mindset. So if you're looking at defensive coaches and defensive-minded coaches and NFL coaches, Staley is not your example. There's been very few direct to NFL college coaches that have succeeded, full stop, period. In fact, most of the really top college coaches that have come into the NFL have fizzled out and they've been hot garbage, full stop, period.
But this guy won a national championship.
Go back. Hey, Jimmy Johnson won a national championship, and he's probably the only college coach because Barry Switzer had the same fucking team as Jimmy Johnson. I don't give you that fucking.
And he took a few years too.
Jimmy Johnson is probably the only college coach to have won a national championship and a Super Bowl.
So you're telling me? You're telling me
what you're saying?
You wouldn't want him as your next coach?
Jimmy Johnson?
No, the Clemson
Dabo
coach.
Sweeney?
No.
Dabo Sweeney? No, I don't want Dabo.
No.
I want him to.
I like Dabo Sweeney, but no. Dabo Sweeney has been winning because he has an excellent offensive coordinator and a fantastic defensive coordinator, which is now the coach.
And wouldn't you want him
at
on
a top name school?
Wouldn't you want them on your
top name
offensive
school where the recruiting is everything?
Is easy.
Okay.
The recruiting is easy.
Wouldn't you want him on as your offensive coordinator?
No,
when you have recruiting for college.
When you have younger guys that are under you as a college offensive minded coach, you can get a lot of these offensive guys from college, and you can get a lot of these young college guys to follow you. What you have a real issue with at the NFL level is when you have guys getting paid $30 and $40 million more than you as a head coach, you have a very hard time getting them to follow you and kind of direct them in the right direction because these college coaches do not have the same pull over the NFL players. So what you need to find is a guy that's been in the NFL before, a guy that's commanded NFL players before, that can actually speak their language, because at the end of the day, the NFL players are at such an elite level at the football, just in general, overall. Even the worst guys in the NFL are leaps and bounds better than anyone in the college level, full stop, period. What you
Ding,
need
ding,
is
ding, ding, ding. Richie Richey wins the internet tonight.
Yes,
what
that's
you
right.
need is you need an NFL coach that can look to their players and improve them as players, and that's how you're going to get a guy to direct your coach or your team, and that's where you're going to end up having your team succeed. So what you're probably better off doing is look to the NFL and finding coordinators and promote them, and you do so until you find the right guy for the right job to do the right thing for your team. I think you guys would be probably better off with a guy like Brian Daboll. I think you'd be better off with.
Kellen
I think
Moore.
you'd be better off with someone like that.
I would
Well,
rather all of those people. I would rather have Dayball because I think Kellen Moore is still a little bit on the younger side. Dayball has got more experience in the NFL, and I think it's right for him to get a good job. And Dayball, as an offensive guy, I think would be amenable to keeping Gus Bradley there as well. Get rid of fucking Tom Cable as well. Get rid of fucking Greg Olson. I'm sick and tired
This is
of those
why
guys.
I respect Richie Richey's commentary as a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
More than half the damn Raiders fans that show up and spew crap.
Yeah.
Well, I
They don't know
think
what they're talking about.
I think one coach that me and the captain agreed on is the Stanford coach. What about him? I mean, I've been hearing his name for years to be in the NFL.
Possibly have, and the only reason why I would even consider David Shaw as a candidate is because he has a lot of NFL-esque roots along with his plans, and I think it wouldn't be as much of a departure for David Shaw. I could see David Shaw, but if you're gonna say who I want as the head coach, I'd take Dayball in a minute. And if Kellen Moore, I don't know what his contract status is, but you bring Brian Dayball in with Kellen Moore or somebody with a good offensive coordinator status or somebody that Dayball wants to know that's going to be running his system, Dayball and a guy that he wants with Gus Bradley. And by the way, Gus needs some help there too. He needs that defense is better this year, but they're still missing parts. You bring that staff in there. I see
a comment that I got to address when you're done. I got a comment that I got to address when you're done.
Okay, go ahead.
Raider Ruckus, Eric Bieniemy
will
never, ever be a Raider as long as Mark Davis is in charge. Let me tell you why. He's got a domestic violence past.
Thank you.
Mark Davis is friends with Freddie Bolitnikoff, whose daughter died.
Yeah, ain't gonna happen.
Domestic violence and started his foundation. He will never allow a piece of shit like Eric Bieniemy into the Raiders.
Exactly.
Drop it, end it, fix it, bro. It will never happen.
And by the way, Eric Bieniemy ain't all that. It's Andy Reid being a puppet master to Eric Bieniemy.
You need to look, bro. Love you, but you need to drop that shit. Never gonna happen.
Nah,
so why is the NFL allowing him coaching?
Mark Davis
if you're gonna look at Bieniemy
and wear church before that ever happened.
Why is the NFL allowing him to coach then?
Because the NFL doesn't care.
Why is Tariq Hill not recommended for Father of the Year?
Yeah.
He's a child abuser. He's in the NFL. The Chiefs love these abusers.
Dirty. Go ahead, Barner.
So I know this is 15 minutes old, but I wanna speak on this Dabu Sweeney thing really quickly again. You know what I mean?
Okay.
For my guy over here in the corner, he's been a coach since 1993. None of those years have been in the NFL. You don't think that's a statement? You've been a football coach since 93. It's 2021. You have not been given a shot in the NFL. All your coaching career has been two colleges, Alabama and Clemson.
Adding to that, Chip Kelly came into the NFL, fizzled out, and went back to college in that same time frame. So I couldn't agree with you more.
Maybe it takes some time for other coaches to get recognized.
What about
sometimes coaches?
What about
my bad, Captain.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Dirty. Steve Spurrier, great accolades, was a shit coach in the National Football League. There's so many different examples that are great college coaches that are
The
fuck
Jaguars.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Jody.
I'm a great high school coach. I'm a great high school coach. I'm undefeated in 5 seasons as a high school coach, right? That doesn't make me a great college coach, nor does it mean I have NFL type experience or that I can make it to the NFL. Some coaches are meant to be what they are. And unfortunately, Dabo Swinney is a college coach, just like Rich Bisaccia is a special teams coach. He's not a head coach. He's not head coach material. Some people are just not cut out for that next level. And see, the thing about college is you got to understand he's been at 2 colleges, Clemson, Alabama, 2 high-profile colleges that don't technically need to recruit. All they need to do is show up and say, hey, we're interested. And the player is going to be like, okay, because it's Clemson and Alabama, right? So in this aspect, when you're looking at a coach to come in and lead grown-ass men that are making obscene amounts of dollars, you need someone who has been around that for at least 5 to 10 years already, so that they have some type of knowledge and experience on how to handle those gentlemen. A college coach coming up, he's going to try and teach $1 million players to act like his college students, and that's never going to happen. So most college coaches, they come up to the NFL, they get a little experience, they go back and be head coaches somewhere at another big name school, and then they come back. You know what I mean? Pete Carroll being one of those coaches. You know what I mean? He was in the NFL. It didn't work too well for him. He went back to college, got SC to the promised land, then went over into Seattle and came back into the NFL with, you know what I mean, a little bit more experience, a little bit more knowledge on how to handle things his second go round. You know, do I think Dabo Swinney deserves an opportunity to be in the NFL? Yes. I just don't want it to be with my franchise right now. It has been too long for us giving people opportunities and shit ain't working out. We need to get to the point right now where the next 5 years needs to be with guaranteed experience at every level of our football team, except for the president, which I feel like should be Louis Riddick. That's the only thing I feel like shouldn't have any experience as in our franchise next year. That's it.
My situation is I live in South Carolina. You take Dabo Swinney from Clemson, I'll get hung wearing a Raiders helmet, hat. Okay? These motherfuckers got no forgiveness. They love Dabo Swinney. I'll get killed wearing this Raiders hat out in public. And the thing is, it'll be for nothing because Dabo Swinney will not succeed his first round in the NFL. He won't.
Right. He won't.
Look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. What do they got?
Please don't even talk about Urban fucking liar.
No, but this is no different. This is no different than when you get into the managerial or even executive ranks within organizations. So, for those who don't know me, I'm an IT exec here in Canada. I that's my day job. I actually do NFL stuff just because I enjoy it.
So fucking nice.
Because I enjoy it, I do, and so when you get into the IT executive ranks, like there's tons of people that are in the lower level ranks that are in even middle management and supervisory ranks that don't have the mental mindset in order to manage the higher level decisions that need to be made within organizations. This is no different than the NFL level. This is no different than the college level. You've heard plenty of NFL players make comments, the fact that they need guys, they need coaches that can actually improve them and make them better and make them think, push them and improve them. So if I'm going to speak, I'm sorry, I don't know the gentleman's name at the bottom left here of the screen, my bottom left.
Eeyore.
Yeah. So I'm going to take one of your Raiders players and I'm just going to use as him as an example. Let's look at Max Crosby. So when you look at Max Crosby, do you honestly think that Dabo Swinney is going to make Max Crosby a better player? Do you think that Dabo Swinney is going to bring in a defensive coordinator or a defensive line coach that's going to make Dabo Swinney better? However, if you were to flip the script and you were to say, do you think that Gus Bradley has someone that's going to make Max Crosby a better player? My answer is probably yes. So my point here is that I don't believe that that the example of bringing in a guy like Dabo Swinney or someone like that is going to be a better fit. I think that you guys might be better bringing in Dabo Swinney for what he's good at, which is perhaps offense. So could he be an offensive coordinator in the NFL? Sure, I think that's potentially a possibility for someone like a Dabo Swinney. Do I think that he's going to be willing to take a demotion like that because there's going to be a perceived demotion when you move to an offensive coordinator in the NFL? No, I think he's going to command and demand an NFL head coaching position, and I think that's what the gap here that we're talking about is. I think there's plenty of NFL teams that would be willing to promote Dabo Swinney to an offensive coordinator, and that's the difference that Dirty Raider here was talking about. High school coach, college coach, NFL coach. You're talking a stepping stone here. You're talking stepping ladders. You're talking about going up a ladder. And you're talking about a guy that hasn't been able to prove himself well enough at the NFL level for people to even consider him for a coordinator position, let alone a head coaching position. And I think that speaks volumes.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna have to start doing the outros now. Basically, we are up at 2 hours. And I don't like to go up over 2 hours as well because I got to do the chops and I got to be on another show in an hour as well. But again, I want to thank all of the people here, Richie Riche, Jim, a.k.a. Raider Eeyore, and of course, Dirty Raider for coming into the show tonight. I hope everybody had a chance to express their views. If not, get with me later on and say, you motherfucker, I wasn't allowed to be heard. And I will apologize for that. But again, I appreciate all that we had tonight. I want to make sure that for folks that are watching right now, every one of these people except for Eeyore has a YouTube channel. Okay, so make sure you are going over to Dirty Raider on YouTube. Go to see Dirty Raider on YouTube. Richie Riche is very active on Twitter, and which MHRT Mile High Roundtable. Fantastic content on YouTube. Make sure you go hit up Richie Riche. Obviously, Chronicles of the Black Hole, which is OG Daniel's channel. Make sure you're supporting that. And by the way, if you're watching this on his channel and you're not on my channel, you're missing all this good content as well. So make sure you're coming over to my channel. Jim, aka Raider, appreciate you coming in here as well tonight. So I want to make sure I give the accolades and thanks for everybody's participation tonight, because without you, without people saying what you wanted to ask, and remember at the beginning of this program, we went over the great Raider player Hall of Famer, Ted Hendricks. Make sure you come back and watch that as well. Make sure you guys give us content for that. We'll get back with you as well. I'm going to go around the horn one time before we go. Eeyore, a.k.a. Jim, your last take on the way out.
Okay, we got 5 games left, right? We still have the playoff hunt. We got to win all 5. Plain and simple.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Dirty. And again, Chipmate, thank you for coming in as well. It's always a pleasure. Dirty, you're best on the way out the door, Chipmate.
I agree with Jim on this one. Gotta win out. Just gotta win out. And then Captain OG, get with me behind the scenes. OG knows I'm starting a new show, Cap. Raider Hall of Fame, where we're gonna do, a show dedicated to each player in the Hall of Fame that was Raider in any aspect. So yeah, other than that, Rich, much respect, my friend, and the best of luck to your team throughout the rest of the season.
Except for the game after Christmas.
Which I will be at.
I will be there. Oh, I won't be. I'm sorry, I won't be at that game. I'll be against the Garglers, so I'm gonna miss you, Dirty. I apologize. So, but hopefully we'll catch up another time. Richie,
And then I'm gonna sub to your channel when we finish this.
Okay.
So
Richie.
I'm Richie Richey. I'm part of the MHRT network for Broncos Country. I'm the co-host with a 6'10" Mexican for Broncos Talk on MHRT network. I'm very much the X's and O's style football guy. If you haven't picked up on that already here on the show, I'm about offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, kind of the more gritty style of football, running backs, that kind of stuff. So please go ahead and check us out, MHRT Network on YouTube. Please subscribe. I always love every fan from every team to come in and submit comments and questions and that kind of stuff. I love being challenged and pushed. Football is a passion of mine. So please go ahead and subscribe and check us out. And guys, I just want to say good luck the rest of the season, except for the game you played the Broncos. Good luck on that one. And I do think that your Las Vegas Raiders have a pretty good shot, given your current circumstances, to do really well. Eeyore, I know you may disagree. You didn't earn that nickname just by being positive. I understand that, and I really do hope you guys do okay.
Okay, and again, and actually, didn't I give that one to you, Jim?
What's that?
Didn't I give you that nickname?
Absolutely. I'm proud of it.
Oh, and Dirty, I just subscribed to your channel, so thank you very much for joining in here.
I just subbed to you. You guys, is it? Let me ask you this: Is this it?
Yeah, that's us there. Yeah.
All right, cool deal. I just subbed.
You can check us out. I just did a Lions preview today with my co-host there. We reviewed the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I went over a bit of an offensive breakdown in terms of what the Broncos did and what I thought they should have done. You'll note that there's a stark difference between one versus the other, and so I really appreciate you guys, and feel free to jump in and ask me questions. I always love having all sorts of comments and diverse opinions. Thank you.
And again,
Thank
you picked up 2 from Big Al and Jerry White, Dirty. So again, I that's why I love having everybody come in, is that we get together with each other and we help and support each other. And the content is from fuckers who actually know shit, instead of the fucking talking heads on networks that make way too much money. And fucking A, I should have their goddamn job.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Captain, you got a lot of editing tonight. You know that.
No, I stopped it. I stopped it when I decided. I said, "Fuck it, this is not going out to Northeast Streaming Sports." So this isn't. I'm going to say, hey, this one ain't coming to you guys because there's way too much. In fact, it is going out on Northeast Streaming Sports' YouTube channel. I knew for a fact it would be too much for their Facebook, but their YouTube channel, they'll just have to fucking deal with it. Again, gentlemen, I'm gonna bid you guys adieu. I'm gonna get Daniel in here for the last portion of the show. And again, thanks again to everybody here, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure.
Always, thank you.
Appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again.
Bye for now.
Okay. And there we go. So we got our boy back. It's OG Daniel. Thanks again for everybody. And
I love these people. I love these people.
Yeah.
Richie Richey is the nicest goddamn Canadian. How can you hate that guy? You know what I mean? But we got to get back on track, bro.
I got you.
We need to get it done. We need to get back on track. We need to upright the ship.
And hopefully we'll do that.
I love what we're doing. I love the people who follow us. And thank you guys for putting me over 300. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. We're gonna expand this. We're expanding it now. But when it comes to Chronicles of the Black Hole, we are going to stay the course. We are I don't know, Skipper. It's like I love talking to our audience.
Yes.
They're just the difference between us and them is we're Raiders fans who are stupid enough to put ourselves out there. That's all it is.
I said, I appreciate you. I appreciate you bringing me on board your project. Wild Turkey, Rich's channel is MHRT, Mile High Roundtable. That's for Wild Turkey. I saw the comment in there. MHRT, Mile High Roundtable. You will see Richie Riche. And again, great guy. And that's why I have him in here, you know, respect and very insightful, very knowledgeable, very knowledgeable.
Yeah, Skipper, we have great people that we hang out with. And I love these people. Like these, the people who make comments, the people who jump in on panels, the people who give a damn about what we have to. You support us. And quite frankly, we're just a couple of Raiders fans like you. We're stupid enough to put ourselves out there. Quite frankly, we get criticized, we get torn into, we get that from time to time. It doesn't matter. We're here to be hanging out with you people. You're our people. You're just like us.
That's right.
You're fans.
And again, I want to, oh, by the way, Jason wants to know where we're drafting. First off, Jason, that doesn't come out till after the season. But right now, I think I saw the Raiders are drafting around 14. Okay, right now the Raiders are drafting at 14 in the first round, and they only have one first-round pick, by the way. I know that you were talking about getting both receivers from Ohio State. The only way they would be able to do that would be trading back into the first round and doing that. Partner, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this is right now. The Raiders, if they're going to win a Super Bowl, they need to improve their defense. And the defense has been improved, but they still need an improved defense. Okay. The Raiders.
Nobody from Ohio State. Who are the last two players we picked up from Ohio State? Darion Conley and Damon Arnett? No.
No, I'm just, well, first off, they were defensive backs. These guys are wide receivers, and there's a difference there. I actually, again, and I wasn't going to bring that up, but again, I don't want anybody that ever played for LSU or Ohio State, to play for our fucking team anymore.
No, I'm done with these guys.
Yeah. So there you go. And again, I want to say again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to both of our channels. Be sure to support Richie Riche, MHRT, Mile High,
Dirty Raider,
and Dirty Raider. Dirty Raider has his own channel as well. Yeah, Richie Riche says the interior offensive line. I agree. We need a guard, we need a tackle, but we can fill those spots. But we need to improve our defense because the Raiders will not win a Super Bowl until this defense is better than at least half of the league.
For the next 2 years, the best drafts coming out are going to be offensive line and defensive line. Let's get some.
There you go. There you go. That's the way to improve it.
After that, it's quarterback drafting, and that's perfect around Derek Carr's extension. But,
well, that's at Derek Carr's here next year, but that's another conversation. Daniel, I'm going to have to go, and we appreciate you being here, brother. By the way, before we leave, how's your back? Because I know your back was hurting the other night.
Better. I've been doing the physical therapy thing. It's a lot better. And I usually like to bitch about the VA, but in this program, not so much.
Okay, good. Well, again, folks, this has been Chronicles of the Black Hole. Make sure you tell your friends about the shows on my channel along with Chronicles of Black Hole channel. Make sure that you're subscribed. Ring the bell to get all of the notifications. Make sure you ring the bell and you get the vibrating sounds off that so you know when we're on. Tomorrow,
Get your vibrator working.
This is very, very, very important. Tomorrow, Ref Guru, Violator, and myself will be on the NFL Nation Live channel. NFL Nation Live, it is listed there where it is on the it says what YouTube channel. Look for NFL Nation Live.
And Thursday night, when there's no content out, go to Dos Pendejos in a chat room on my channel. Myself and Raider Joe are gonna go over what's going on last week and what we're gonna do this week. Just look, we're trying to provide content on the nights where there's no content.
And that'll be a nice lead in. It'll be Dos Pendejos, which is I think 8 o'clock Eastern, correct?
9, 8, between 8 and 9.
Okay, yeah, 8 o'clock Eastern to 9 o'clock Eastern, and then I have my show right at 9 o'clock Eastern-ish. So right after you watch Two Assholes.
We usually go at 8, and then everybody jumps to the captain's channel.
There you go. So when you watch Two Assholes, aka Dos Pendejos, right? I did that correctly?
Yep.
Okay. So when you're finished watching Two Assholes, aka Dos Pendejos, over on Chronicles of the Black Hole with OG Daniel and Raider Joe, pop in. It'll be You Don't Know Jack About Sports, 9 o'clock Eastern. Thanks again, folks. I got to hit the cut ups, and then I will be on. I will be on Sports X Radio. Sports X Radio in about 45 minutes. Sports X Radio with Ken Thompson. That is on the internet. Sports X Radio. I know we're going to be talking Raiders, so make sure you are there. KDWN.
Where can they find that, Captain?
Sports X Radio
on YouTube or
no. Sports X Radio on the internet. Go to the internet, look up Sports X Radio. It'll give you that information. Sports X Radio on the internet.
All right, brother. Love you.
All right, you guys take care. We'll see you next time, folks. Remember, tomorrow night and then Thursday night, we got a date with myself and OG. And again, Sports X Radio in about 40 minutes. We'll see everybody.